Good evening, YouTube. This is Tired Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys are having a good, safe evening right now. A lot of weather going on in the country today. Gonna get right on into this. Actually, before I do, I'm gonna also say I appreciate the recent momentum that we've had on the channel. Let's keep that going if we can. Mainly just try to do my part to spread the word about the weather in a way that doesn't seem too robotic. I try to be myself on here. But anyway, enough about me. Let's get straight into it. We have ongoing severe weather right now. Very nasty storm system is moving in, and we are likely to see a line of storms with a big swath of damaging winds, and maybe even a few tornadoes, as well as ridiculously large hail. In fact, a new severe thunderstorm watch was issued not too very long ago. This includes now Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, and Nebraska. Nebraska has two severe thunderstorm watches right now, and then we even have one that includes New Mexico and Colorado. We had one in Wyoming just a little bit earlier, but this is since then been allowed to expire as these storms have moved out of the air. You can almost kind of see the line of storms beginning to develop here. But there have also been a few tornado warnings. There's still one right now in Colorado, and we'll have to watch and see if there will be another one shortly. Even now I've been hearing reports of little land spout gustnadoes in even Iowa right now. So, I mean, tornado threat is definitely there. Nothing crazy has happened just yet. So far, we're sitting at 4, but they're not including that report in Iowa yet. But atmosphere is definitely active and could potentially become a little bit more intense as the night goes on. We even have the possibility of what's called a derecho, which is a huge line of damaging straight line winds, or a huge line of storms that have damaging straight line winds associated with them, and these tend to last for a while. These will be about 100 miles across, and they can go about 250 to 400 miles. And as long as they have consistent reports of wind damage, that is considered a derecho. We also still have the next 3 days after today with slight risk for severe weather. I'm still keeping an eye on Friday. They have not upgraded that yet, but there's still plenty of time for that to change. Let's hope it honestly stays at slight risk, if anything, if it doesn't decrease back to marginal or nothing. But anyways, let's get into it. We already know the risk for today. Main threat's going to be damaging wind and hail, so we'll move to day 2. And we've had a few new developments here as well. The Ohio Valley is now in play for the same MCS that we're dealing with right now, coming from the exact same storm system. But look how far our slight risk has stretched east. My area is even in play now. Atlanta, you guys are at risk for some severe weather tomorrow. Tornado threat's next to minimal, but the wind threat and the hail threat are the greatest hazards to be concerned with. Even my family in Springfield, you guys might need to watch out for some weather. If you're in Tennessee and Ohio valleys, you got to be extra careful. Nashville, Louisville, Bowling Green, Jackson, Memphis, all of you guys need to watch out as well. It's including Indianapolis, and there's even a marginal risk in areas like St. Louis. We get further to the south, we have Little Rock and Memphis, Greenville, and Birmingham as well. You guys are in play, and we can't exclude areas like Savannah and Columbus, Georgia, and Charleston. There's a lot going on here, so we'll have to be extra careful of that. We'll take a look at the day 3 threat, and then we're right back into the center of the country. We have some of the same areas getting hit today, in line for a threat for, looks to be Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday. Kind of drawing blank on yeah, a little tired still. I'm sorry. It's been a long couple of days. It's been a long few days at work already. So we look at day 4, and we're starting to shift back to the southeast again. It's just going to be a train of multiple multiple low pressures, multiple severe thunderstorms, probably multiple MCS type storm systems, if anything, which could be really dangerous. And really, during this time of year, the main threat tends to shift from tornadoes to damaging straight line winds. So if you end up being under an area of interest, be prepared for potential power outages. Have some candles, or have your generators ready. Whatever measures you need to take to make sure you have some kind of light or power, whatever. This might be a good time to prepare, because the weather pattern does not look like it's slowing down anytime soon. When we look through days 5 through 8, predictability is too low. Which means that potential is still there. Let's go to the Euro and take a look at the low level jet. This isn't really super indicative of damaging straight line winds, to be honest. This is more for tornadoes, but it sometimes can give us an indicator here. So move this along. We'll go into Wednesday afternoon. I have a little activity, very limited low level jet. May see something over the Delmarva and the mid Atlantic on late Wednesday night into early Thursday morning, but I'll have to watch that real close. Then into Friday, it kind of shifts back towards the southeast. I think that's probably indicative of an MCS right there. We'll have to take a close look at that. And then we go into Saturday morning, and at this point, we're getting towards the end of the model run, and things start to get a little bit messy. We'll have to take a close. We'll keep an eye on Saturday, of course. Let's go to what the radar could look like. This will kind of give us a better idea of what could happen, although there is a lot of room for this to change, especially once we get past 48 hours. We get into the early morning hours on Wednesday in the southeast, and there's plenty of active weather. I'm also very concerned about the flood threat, especially around areas like Birmingham. Got hit pretty hard today by a line of storms, and this line of storms basically trained over the same areas, which more often than not increases the flood threat. So as this complex of storms moves in, same areas that got a lot of heavy rain today, we'll be getting some tomorrow, which could be a big problem. Thursday, this low moves into the northeast, causing a little bit of a ruckus there. I do think that there is a severe weather threat that exists with that, albeit marginal, hence why we probably will have a marginal risk there. And then by Thursday afternoon, this will move out. And then Friday, we have a new storm system rolling in. By Friday afternoon, it's in the southeast and looking to cause a little bit more trouble. So we get into Saturday morning, early Saturday morning. This is on the coast into the Delmarva, mainly on the Carolina coast, and then towards maybe midday early Saturday afternoon. Most of the weather will have moved off by then. Let's take a look at the excessive rainfall outlook here. A lot of the same areas that are experiencing severe weather right now, this line of storms also is dropping gargantuan hail, but one thing that often sometimes gets forgotten or left out in all of this is the extensive rainfall rates. When you get severe thunderstorms, you usually get rainfall rates of at least about 2 inches an hour or more, along with that large hail, wind threat, tornado threat, etc. So this area is of great concern in regards to flash flooding, because what ends up happening is these storm drains aren't really designed for prolonged periods of heavy rain greater than 1 inch an hour. I mean, they can cover up to about maybe 16 to 17 inches, but that's only for an hour. That's the real truth there. So when you're getting 2-3 inch rainfall rates, let's say over 2.5 hours, those storm drains aren't going to hold up to that for too long, especially if you've been having rain recently. So this area is of great concern here. While they don't have a slight risk or anything like that here, it's a marginal threat. I think around here also might need to be an area that might need to be watched real close. Anywhere from Birmingham, maybe even as far north as southern Kentucky, I would say even. I think this little area could possibly be due for a slight risk. When we go to day 2, it's still a marginal risk, but I think this, in all likelihood, will be upgraded, especially around here, especially once we get towards the Appalachian range. And I think this could even be stretched a little bit further to the south and east too. It might even include Atlanta. Hard to say right now. We've been having more or less the spotty summertime pop-up thunderstorms, or popcorn thunderstorms, as I'm used to calling them. But we'll still need to watch that closely as well, because if you happen to be under that, a few times during the week, and then you get hit by a big storm system like what we're expecting, things could get a little bit messy. And then we got one more thing I'm going to talk about here, and that will be the temperatures. We are expecting a ridge to develop towards the end of this weekend and into next week, and it's going to cause what's looking to be a pretty impressive heat wave around the south and east particularly. I mean, the entire eastern half of the country is gonna experience a major warm up, but I think around the south and east particularly, we're gonna be dealing with some major heat. Okay, let's make sure I got all of this together here. And then look right here. Look at this ridge that develops. Thankfully, this doesn't look like it's lasting too long, but towards midweek on Tuesday, look at this. It's a very robust ridge and very warm temperatures around the eastern half of the northern plains. And it's going to sneak its way into the Ohio Valley. So areas up north around the Great Lakes especially, be prepared. Hopefully you have your everything set to go. Check your AC for Freon, because it's going to get hot. The heat's going to be on. And then the same thing can be said for the southeast. The temperature difference isn't going to be that great because we're kind of near average as it is. But really, once you get past 85 and you're still dealing with high dew points, that's not the most fun thing, especially if you work out in it like I do. I do think towards the end of next week, I think the weather pattern is going to start to pick back up, and that ridge is going to get kicked out. So there's a lot of moving parts with this video today. There's a lot of moving parts with the weather this week as well. I think June's going to be a very active month in a lot of different ways. There's excessive heat warnings around the southwest right now, so a lot of you guys hopefully are staying cool. Although there is some positive news. There's been a little bit of rumblings, and I'm not quite sure as to why yet. I'm not going to act like I know, but there is some rumblings of maybe an earlier monsoon season because of the fact that we're having early heat. But that, like I said, that's just hearsay. Take that with a grain of salt, especially since I don't have a way to explain that right now. If I can find something like that, I'll be sure to let anyone who's watching in this area know. But until then, and I will be making a video tomorrow. This has been Tire Metalhead Weatherman. If you guys like what I'm doing, like, comment, subscribe, share the videos. Help me get this word out to other people. But this is all I got for tonight. You guys have a good one.